A couple of months ago, we announced VZR as a company and our debut product, the VZR Model One, to the world. Right now, we're working very hard to prepare the VZR Model One for mass production, targeting a summer release here in a few months. We're very excited to get this in the hands of listeners. The Model One is packed with innovative features designed to enhance the experience for gamers, audio pros, and for music lovers. One of these innovations is CrossWave, a patented proprietary technology that sets the Model One apart. And here to talk to us about CrossWave is its inventor, Vic Tiscareno, co-founder and CEO of VZR. Hi, Vic. So tell us, what is CrossWave?
CrossWave is a passive technology that, without using any DSP, allows the acoustics of the headphone to deliver a very natural 3D spatialized audio experience.
So Vic, tell us how CrossWave works.
Mike, I had a concept here of trying to determine what is keeping us from hearing a more spatial sound when you're wearing headphones. I think most people that are watching this have probably experienced a set of headphones playing their music that they like, but you never suspend disbelief that you're wearing headphones. And I was looking to see what's the secret sauce here. What would take us to the next level on experiencing good audio, spatialized audio, whether it's stereo or real 3D audio where it's got, using head-related transfer functions. So I started examining what would help us here. So I created a device. You can see the back of the napkin here. This is what I use to kind of explain it to the other founders of the company. And we got the driver on the right, and we have what we've affectionately called the widget in the middle, and then we've got something that we call the ear. And so we have this a disc device that fits over the speaker that has a set of apertures, slots, and port tuning to help. There's 10 different things, but I will keep this simple just to say that the sound comes from behind through the apertures and redirects the sound and more discreetly towards the ear. And I'm going to use this other little model I have. I don't know if anyone can see this, but this is a life-size ear. Actually, this is they harvested this from somebody. You can see the ear canal in here. It's pretty deep, isn't it? That's where your eardrum would be at this end over here. But in any event, all these little nooks and crannies. Take a look at somebody's ear. Ask them if you could stare at them for a minute, and take a look. And everything about this. Think about when you cup your hand over your ear. Well, this does it in a very sophisticated manner. And so the ear canal is down here, as you well know, and the distance between the ear canal and the outer edge of this ear there's a distance here. It's almost an inch. And that little bit of delay between where the sound hits this and reflects and bounces around and then goes into the ear canal. Yes, that really does happen. It does reflect and it goes in. That little time delay and the filtering or the shaping or the tonality of that signal gets modified somehow. And so we try to do a combination of things between the driver and the ear and try to bring those two things together, because I felt that the distance between this is what's inside the headphone. That distance of roughly half an inch, 13 millimeters, that's where things break down. And so the analog portion, the speaker to the ear, the other analog part of this thing, is where we have issues. I kind of like to say that we hear with our brain, the ear collects the sound, but it can get kind of a bit confused, if I could say that. Kind of the way when we look at a 2D image that has a 2D illusion. We've all looked at an illusion on a piece of paper and our eye can't quite focus on it. This is different. This is listening and hearing, but our ear kind of gets confused that way as well. So this kind of using discrete porting from the driver to the ear helps mitigate that as a problem.
Tell us how CrossWave is different than other solutions.
Well, there is no other analog solution that I know of that works just like CrossWave. In other words, I don't know of anything that actually goes in front of the driver specifically to do what we just said earlier. However, as far as spatializing audio, let's go back to the fact that we are only using a left and right channel, just 2 wires. So how does that work? We carry stereo signals this way, and we can carry 3D audio source material up the same wires. All it is that 2-channel stereo it works the same way as a 3D audio. With the difference is the phase relationships and filtering effects that we add to replicate what's happening at the ear. And it's a real critical balance between left and right channel, and they got to work in concert. Left channel and right channel meet together, and actually meet in your brain, and your brain tries to figure this out, and it develops a hologram, an audio hologram that you're hearing again with your brain, and because it's fed into your ears, and then your brain tries to figure this out, and it melds these together. The phase relationships, everything about it works in concert. If it's a little bit off, one channel a little louder than the other, or there's a frequency inaccurate frequency representation on one of the channels versus the other, which can happen, then it starts to break down. Kind of like when you're looking at a video hologram or a visual hologram. I mean, we've all seen this at an amusement like Disneyland or whatever. You're looking at it and you move a little bit to the side and it breaks down. It's the same thing with the 3D audio in a different way, in that if it's not just right, the illusion goes away. So everything we're doing here, whether we've custom designed the cabling, the way we put this thing together, we take a lot of good care in ensuring that you get the most accurate signal we can deliver with the VZR Model One.
Vic, tell us how you came up with the idea for CrossWave.
Mike, I'm glad you asked me that. If I can go back a little ways here, I'm a product of the 60s and 70s. Let's start with the fact that I really liked listening to music, and hi-fi was really an up-and-coming thing through the 60s and 70s. I mean, 2-channel audio. Everybody was buying a pair of speakers, and used to walk down the hallways. Almost anywhere you could hear somebody blasting music from the dormitory or from their house, from their car. You don't hear that as much anymore. But I used to ride my bicycle. This is even before I could drive. Ride my bicycle to the nearest hi-fi shop. And, I used to walk in and see Altec Lansing and JBL were a big deal back then. Not that they aren't now, but I'd see these speakers, and the typical speaker is populated with a bunch of drivers like you see on this one. But what the heck is that thing on the top? Is that what kind of vent is that? What is that for? And I went back and I looked it up and tried to figure it out. And it come to find out, that what that is a horn loaded that's a horn loaded speaker in the back. It extends in the back, and that thing filters in the front, and what that does is actually bends the waves. The audio acoustic wave coming out of that thing gets bent. I don't have time to describe exactly how it works, but I thought, God, in a geeky way, I said, hey, that's kind of cool. How you could bend sound waves. So obviously I've got into doing a lot of things in my audio career, including building speakers and designing acoustics. And I thought about, the problem we have with headphones, and I started thinking about the what kind of solution can I come with? Why are we not getting the sound from headphones that we probably could, that we could achieve? So that's basically made me think out of the box. And so the CrossWave is an acoustic lens. We're not calling it acoustic lens. JBL's already called it an acoustic lens, and others have used that term. But we are reshaping the sound as it comes off the driver. The device adds a little bit of compression. It also redirected through the apertures. A lot of things are going on at the exact same time to achieve a goal, whether it's frequency response, performance in the bass region, mid-range, treble, and also redirecting the sound over our ear. So that's about as simple as I could put it right now without getting out the whiteboard and a marker.
Vic, what has CrossWave revealed to you in terms of what you hear? For example, how do you compare music you've listened to, for example, or any audio that you've listened to prior to developing CrossWave compared to what you hear now with CrossWave? Maybe tell us a little bit about those differences.
I'm very used to listening to our headphones now after a lot of development, but I'll use some of the things that some others have said, some professional engineers as well as some people whose ears I trust, or even the casual listener. And many of them have told me when we ask them, how do you hear? What's the difference in sound that you hear between this well-known headphone and our headphone? And he says, well, those sound like I'm listening to headphones, whatever that means. Okay. VZR sounds like especially if you have the right materials, they sound like you're listening to speakers in a room, like you're listening to an event. It's more expansive, especially if you have the right spatialized signal, something that gives you an ambient sound. It sounds, if the performance, which usually is in the front, it sounds more like it's in front of you, and more there's an arc to the sound, and so that's my experience. And I also just talked about what other people have told me, and I have to concur that we kind of are hearing the same things.
Thanks, Victor. Really appreciate your time and for providing such great insight.
Hey, thanks, Mike, for the interview.
We at VZR cannot wait to get this in the hands of listeners so that they can experience the full effect and experience CrossWave for themselves. Be sure to follow us on social media by going to vzraudio.com, where you can sign up to get the latest news and updates and get notified when the VZR Model One is available for pre-order, which is very soon. Thank you.